The first kid is the Roomba kid that just wanders around the room aimlessly. They don't have a goal. The Roomba kid. You know what I mean? They don't have a goal in mind. They don't even know why they're there. They just wander around aimlessly, which I can understand. I'm similar to that. Like if I'm talking on the phone or if I'm talking to people, I'm just randomly all over the place. So like I get that. But the kid, you're like, hey, well, what are you doing? And they're like, I don't know. I'm like, okay, sit down. Welcome to Brothers on the Board, the podcast where we become better teachers together. All right, we're going to start by going over these pet peeves. And the thing is, we have asked each other to come up with pet peeves in the classroom, a list of 3 each. And I've not seen your list.
And I'm not yours.
And you've not seen my list. And we're going to go through it one at a time. And I'm hoping you don't take any of mine, because then I have to be on the on the ball, right?
I got a few backup, like just in case. So
I don't know if the thing is, like, I was trying to think of things that wasn't obvious, right? I think you got those certain pet peeves that every teacher would be like, oh yeah, I can't stand that. Like that drives me
absolutely
bonkers,
right? The things you talk about, like on plan,
All right, I'm gonna let you go first. I'm gonna give you the stage to go first, and we'll see kind of what you come up with. So,
all right,
whenever you're ready, hit me with it. What you got?
All right, so my first pet peeve is, I think, something that I do think a lot of people experience. And I'm calling it the finisher.
Wait, I know where this is going. Okay,
it's the stipping that gets done super quick. And there's 2 different types of finishers, right? There's the finisher that's like done and good, and you're like, what do I do with you now? Read a book,
then you get into the differentiation, moving them on conversation of how do I. That's the kid that continuously is doing it
absolutely,
every day.
Absolutely. Then you have the finisher that I think the one I'm more talking about is the one that gets done and it's like not correct at all.
At all.
You just keep like sending them back to redo it and reteach it, and like you just like aren't getting anywhere with it, and they just like are clearly just rushing to get through it. So, producing just very poor quality work, and you're like, you got to slow down.
like they just want to be done, right? They're rushing it. They're just trying to get done. And, I have kids that'll come up to me over and over and over. And every time they come to me, I'm like, I will find something. For you. Because if I don't, why else are we here, right? Like I need to find something for you to
absolutely
improve, right? It gets to the point where I'm eventually like, you're never done. It's like, you're never finished.
No, absolutely. And I think that I have I figured out a few ways to deal with it. I use like GimKit. I don't know if you know about that.
I'm assuming it's a science thing.
It is
not. I do want to point this out, and just to make sure that people know that's watching this, I am a 7th grade language arts teacher, and Wes is a 7th grade science teacher. Yes. Okay. Go on. Continue.
So GimKit is like a big one that I have kind of figured out. Blookit is another one. Have you heard of Blookit?
Blookit, yes. We use Blookit quite a bit.
GimKit,
like the little games.
GimKit is like a better Blookit. It's very good. So I feel like that's something that a lot of teachers could have in their arsenal to kind of deal with the people who finish early. Like I'll put 6th grade content, so they review 7th grade content, 9th grade content, and then I'll give them like a reward system for if they complete one of those GimKits. Like they get, our school uses star tickets as kind of a reward. Every one they complete, they get a star ticket for. So like they get to go back and review. They get to go forward to 8th grade and stuff like that. So that's kind of one of my arsenal things to deal with it, but it's still like infuriating.
Yes, it's still a pain. Yeah, absolutely. And that's something I think you could kind of hold in your back pocket. We get to that like, technology, interactive education type thing. I had a teacher the other day who said he does and this was a math teacher, and I thought this was really cool. He did a what was it? It was like mild, medium, and spicy questions for math, and the student chose this was dealing with student choice in the classroom. So the student chose which version of the questions that they wanted to do, as an extra top thing, right? So that's what that kind of reminds me of, where you were saying you had the 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade content. So okay, all right, fair enough. Yes, the finisher. I have the thing is, I've got kids' faces running through my head right now, that the kids that I know, I'm like, all right, y'all, go ahead, get started. If you need anything, raise your hand. I'm here. And then boom, kids like, I'm done.
And like, you hate to do it, but you're like, I know you're not done. Like, there's no way.
There's no way.
I couldn't get through that quick. And then, and then you like give a bunch of feedback, and it's like within like 10 minutes they're back up, and you're like, I just gave you like a paragraph of feedback. There's no way you got through that.
But I ain't buying it. Okay, I will now move on to mine. You did not take one of mine, so that's good. That's good. So my first one is the I was just kid. I was just. Now, I don't know if you know where I'm going with this, but kid, you start your lesson, right? And you have you go through your expectations. You're like, you do this, you do that, you don't do this, you do this, blah, blah, blah. So one of the big ones is like, hey, don't, like, for example, don't get up and move around. You may be hearing this one later, but don't get up and move around. Right? Stay in a seat. I need you guys in a seat. Everyone, we do champs at our school, so it's like movement level 0. For this lesson, I need you in a seat.
I always tell them they're stressing me out.
You're taking a test, whatever. Yeah, we're going to get to that, But the kid that drives me bonkers is the kids that roam around the room, and then you say, hey, could you, hey, take a seat. You need to sit down. And they go, oh, I was just sharpening my pencil. I was just throwing something away. And I have a teacher down the hallway, and he'll tell the kids, like, I don't know if you heard the directions, but I didn't say only get up unless you need to sharpen a pencil, right? I said stay in a seat, right? So like that kills me, because it's like, and it's funny because Nolan, for those who don't know, is my 4-year-old. Like, I'm hearing him say it now. I'm saying, hey, you need to stop that. Oh, I was just doing this. Like, I get it. You want to explain yourself, but do this. Like that drives me crazy. I would say that's one of them, because it's almost like, like they're trying to find an excuse to get around the expectation, right? Like, you're like, no, that's not the expectation. Like, I get what you're saying, but no, that drives me crazy.
Listen. Like, you're just trying to get around that. I agree. That one, I was just, I've had that one before too. Now, something that you and I are a little bit different in is the pencil thing. Like, I am pretty lenient about letting them sharpen their pencil. But that's kind of, I guess, the, differences that we have in our classrooms.
It depends. It depends. It depends on what the assignment is. If it's something where I'm like, okay, we're reading an article, we're reading something, like everyone is reading right now, and I need peace and quiet. Like, I need to make sure everyone is focused. We're annotating. We're doing those things. It's like, the last thing I want you up is like, you're sharpening the pencil. Like, just raise your hand, and I would rather just give you one. Like, I would just give you another pencil. You need something to throw something away, just like let me know. Because like, for a lot of students, it's not like throwing the thing away is not the problem.
It's the going to the throwing it away. And then you're just like, they can't focus on that. They get distracted by what's happening over here.
And you can watch the kids in a classroom, like, watch them as they go. Like, they're all like watching them, and then the kid's like laughing. He's over here, he's messing with the kids' books, like, or something, the whole way across. It's like, I was just
that's a big one.
Oh, that's a big one. Shutting their Chromebook, or they're like, oh, I was just throwing something away, and I'm like, I know you were just throwing something away, and you also just hit Johnny in the back of the head and took so-and-so's pencil and shut his Chromebook on the way to throw something away. Like, you know what? Those are probably the problems, like, more so than throwing it away. So, all right. That's my first one. I was a little redundant on my list. I'm going to have to kind of look at that in a minute. But anyways, you go on.
All right.
What's your number 2?
So number 2, I have titled it "The Perfectly Planned Potty User."
Oh, okay.
the student who, like, as soon as, just to avoid the task, as soon as you turn them loose on something, you've given direct instruction, you're ready for them to get started, immediately that hand goes up. You know it's coming. And you're like, every day you're asking to go to the restroom. It's a tough one for me because, like, I understand, like, I want to let you go to the restroom, and but I have some that just misuse it. They're always going up.
Yeah, it's and if they know that you, like, I'm a bit of a pushover with the restroom. I like people, like the kids will ask me because they know I usually will say yes. Like there's bells where they know better than to ask, right? Teachers that they have that they know is going to say no. So a lot of them will ask me, and I, as someone who has a finicky stomach myself, right? I'm like, I don't want to tell you no because that's just, I don't do that. I just 90% of the time, unless I have absolute instruction, like saying, hey, don't let them go. Like today, we're on a no pass bail because something's going on in school or whatever. Unless it's something like that, I will usually let them go. But for the most part, it can be an issue. Here's something that I noticed. Ooh, hit my mic. Here's something that I noticed. So, and I'm sure a lot of teachers will agree with this. This is me opening the door for a kid that just got back from the restroom. So they've raised their hand. They've asked to go. Okay, you can go. They get the pass and they leave. They come back. They knock on the door. I go over and I open the door for them. And when I open the door for them, I know as I turn around, there's going to be
someone else. Yeah.
Yeah, because they just saw like this person opened the gates, right? They opened the floodgates. So now like half the class is like, I could either go to the bathroom and chill, or I could sit here and do this assignment.
I've started hitting them with the 1 minute. Give me a minute. Have you done that one?
Yes. Yeah. Give me just a second.
Give me a second.
Yeah. Give me a second. Now, a lot of times I'm legitimate. Like I really need a second to process or do whatever it is I'm doing. Right. Like I can't. Like here's the thing. Like if I have everyone's attention, and you raise your hand and ask me to go to the restroom, like, do you know how hard it was for me to get everyone's attention the first time? Right. Give me a minute. Let me explain what I'm saying. Let me finish, and then I'll try to let you go. But dude, this is hard. Yeah. What are you doing? Like, let me get finished with these directions, Absolutely. And then I'll try to get you. Yes, the planned potty people. Yes, I know those people. Those people all too well. And the same as earlier, the one person in particular right now, just running through my head. I mean, she's probably asking to go to the restroom right now at home. She's probably emailing me right now. Like,
now to help manage that, my school has started using a Flex Time Manager, which is like an app, like an application on the computer that will track. They have to make a hall pass on the computer, but it's like super frustrating because if they make a hall pass, I have a pin that I have to type into the computer to let them go. And when they come back, I type the pin back in. Right. So like I'm just constantly typing pins. Like I had my pin memorized.
Yeah.
Like always.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't hate that. That's kind of cool.
It'll limit the bathroom too to only 3 people out of the whole building. So like if there's too many, it's like, hey, maximum capacity has been reached. Yeah.
Oh man, if my admin gets a hold of this, they're gonna love that. Yeah. That'd be great. That is really cool. I may have to. It was an application actually
built from a teacher in my district. He built it like 5 years ago, and he.
That is cool. I like that. The thing is, we do group restroom breaks, right? We go during. We take them during second bell as a group. They can go during lunch, and then we take them during sixth. So like that's 3 opportunities where everybody can go. Just so you can try to limit the hallway traffic all day, right? And but that app though that's pretty cool. I like that. I'll look into that. That's something that I'll definitely suggest. Okay, my next one. I'm being redundant here. I'm gonna go ahead and say it, but I have to put it. I have to say it. Moving around the room and and I have a variety of kids that I'm going to highlight here, a variety of students that I'm going to highlight, and I'm sure everyone's going to know who these kids are. The first kid is the Roomba kid that just wanders around the room aimlessly. They don't have a goal. The Roomba kid, you know what I mean? They don't have a goal in mind. They don't even know why they're there. They just wander around aimlessly, which I can understand. I'm similar to that. Like if I'm talking on the phone or if I'm talking to people, I'm just randomly all over the place. So like I get that. But the kid, you're like, hey, well, what are you doing? And they're like, I'm like, well, okay, sit down. You know, that's another thing. My coworkers make fun of me because I use a lot of like that. They're like, here's this classroom management.
Yeah. Hand motions.
Yeah, chill. Hand motions. Yeah. I'm not a yeller. I'm not a yeller. I'm not a call you out in front of everyone kind of guy. I'm more or less just like trying to get your attention so I can do this kind of thing. But yeah, the Roomba kid. So there's that one. Then there's the dasher kid, the kid that's trying. They want to get up from like their seat to go to a friend to get like their chapstick, and then they run back to their seat, and then a few minutes later they're up again and they run back to their friend to give the chapstick back, and then a little while later they're at another person's desk and then they're back to the seat. So it's just a constant dart.
We had a huge issue with this a few years ago in my school with Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
Oh, dude, Flamin' Hot Cheetos and stuff like that's like currency.
You bring Flamin' Hot Cheetos into a classroom, and you are everyone's best friend. Like,
you know what kills me? I'll see middle schoolers that will go up to other kids, and they just do this.
Just put their hands out.
They don't. They don't ask. They don't even ask it. I've seen them do it to strangers in the hall. I couldn't imagine just walking up to a random person that's eating chips. Could you imagine just walking up like outside in like the park or somewhere, someone's just eating a bag of chips, and you just come up and go like and it's not weird.
They just go and just go.
They just give them, son, and move on. It's bizarre to me. I mean, it's just a different time, right? It just, I don't understand it. It's just, I don't get it. But yes, Flamin' Hot Cheetos. Yeah, the Dasher kid. That's the Cheeto kid. They're running, but which that like me and I co-teach in the classroom, so that's her biggest pet peeve is eating in the room, and personally I'm not like it does annoy me. Don't get me wrong, it does annoy me, but I'm not as strict as she is about it. But I have to try to be as strict as she is. I have to try to meet her on that level. I think she has to bring it down to where I'm at, and I have to kind of come up a little bit. But yeah, the eating in the room. The Dasher kid running back and forth getting chips, all that. Yeah, that drives me crazy. Then there's we go back to the I was just kid, right? Then there's just the kid that's going and throwing stuff away, or he's he or she is just they're intentionally tearing things out to throw away. Like it's just a blank sheet of paper. Like they just tore it out just to throw it away. I'm like, why do you even? Everything's digital. Why do you have a notebook out? Like you don't even need it, right? So yeah, moving around, that's my number 2. All right. So number 3. What you got for me?
So my third and final one is metal water bottles in the classroom.
Okay.
I literally, before doing this, like last week, before the podcast even started, I had a student who had a metal water bottle. We were talking about forces in science, and they were like, I can show you gravity, and held it up. And I was like, please do not. This is one of my top 3 things is metal water bottles. And then the kids were like, oh, what's your other ones? But I was like, I can't stand them. I can't stand the loud clanging. They always end up somehow on the floor making a ton of noise in the most inconvenient time. And it's the bane of my existence, really.
I had a kid the other day that knocked over the same water bottle like 4 times. And every time it does, it's like cling, 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 cling. And you're like, okay, like, buddy, listen, like, you're thirsty. That's cool. I get it, but like, I'm going to take it and put it on my desk because it's driving me crazy. Like, please just find a way to keep this thing from falling.
Please.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that. And Amelia, that's my wife. For people that doesn't know this, we were having this conversation earlier, and I told her that we've talked about this in the past, right? This water bottle thing, and she's like, how often could those really fall though? I'm like, surprisingly a lot more than you would think.
28 to 32 kids in a classroom, and they are gonna bump into them. Like, it's gonna happen. They're gonna find them.
It's wild. It doesn't help that they're the size of they're like this big around. It doesn't help that these metal water bottles are huge.
Water in that water bottle than I drink in a week. Like,
dude, I don't drink water. I need to drink more. Like, I need to drink more water because I don't drink enough. I think that's a pretty common teacher thing.
I think I just got an idea for the next episode. Ways to take care of yourself, like in the classroom.
Oh, yeah, true. And that's something that I think that's a common gripe amongst teachers. It's like, I'd love to be able to use the bathroom.
100%.
That'd be great, right? Like, you ready for me to hit you with the last one?
Yeah, I'm prepared.
Ready for it? Farting. We're going with farting on this one.
It happens.
Yeah, here's the thing with it's. Let's start by saying there's a difference between oops and I'm going to rock this classroom. Like, I have bad intentions with this. It's like, you did that on purpose. Like, the thing about it is, it's either funny or it's really, really not. There's no in between. It's like they choose the worst time possible, right? Like, and like, it's hard to recover from a fart as a teacher, because even when you finally get them all quiet, and I don't blame them. When I was that age, it was the same way. Like, kid farts, everyone laughs. You finally get them all right, chill out. Let's chill out. Let's get back to teaching. And you look around, and there's like 6 or 7 of them going, like, they're trying. God bless their souls. They're really trying.
They can't help
but they're trying to hold it in. So it's like, that is the thing. And now we go back to the whole, like, hey man, just ask me, or just, hey, can I step out in the hallway for just a second? Like, oh yeah, I got you. Just like, but every year we have the one kid that's what he's known for. Like, he's like, he gets like, don't be the stinky kid. Like, he is every year there's one that is just known for it. And here's the thing too, is like, they've been known for it for years. So this is not like a new thing. No one's surprised. Mm-hmm. They don't care either. Right? This is just, they just wear it on their sleeve. Like, they do not care. So it's like, it makes for some interesting conversations, when you're talking to a parent or something, and you're like, hey, he does this a lot on purpose.
It's like one of those where it's like, is there something I need to know? Like, or is this
yeah. I mean, obviously you have, and this is not the kids that have something like medical reason or anything like that. We're talking like just someone who just wants to be a disruption.
Wants to make a laugh.
They're just like everyone. They're gonna laugh at this one. Dude, let's go.
I have my last class of the day. It's been like a week and a half now. Every single day I'm up teaching, and in the back corner of my room, there's like 5 kids with their shirts over the nose. They're getting up, moving away. I'm like, it's literally, I had to address it the other day. Like, the first few times it happened, I was like, all right, it happens, accident, whatever. It just kept going. And I was like, all right, finally, I was like, look, guys, this is every day. Like, this is a problem that we have to figure out. And trying to like address farting in a serious manner is very difficult.
It's very hard when you're immature. When you're immature, it's like, how am I going to approach this? But yes, no, it is an issue. Absolutely, it's drives me insane. And again, it's not the kids that have like okay, I get it, you have a problem or whatever, or you the kid that that knows that they shouldn't eat or drink something, but they do it anyway, right? Like that, that's the thing. Like, and so yeah, it's not that. It's the kid that's like blatantly just trying to be they're trying to be an issue, right? So, all right, that I think is our last one.
Yes.
Right? Did we go through all three?
Yes, we did.
Okay, so I looked up, and I was interested in this. I did some Googling, did some searching, and I looked up what the number one gripe amongst teachers was. And I couldn't find, obviously, any kind of definitive list, but I saw a lot of things that people were discussing and saying. And one of the things that I found more than probably anything else was the intercom and the telephone ringing. That, like, when you have everyone's attention and the phone rings, it's gone immediately. Everyone sees you going to answer the phone, so they're all like, "Yeah,
Absolutely.
Time to chat it up." And they all start talking, and the longer the phone conversation goes, the louder everyone gets, and then you gotta get that attention signal going, get everybody back down, all that. So yeah, absolutely. What do you think? Do you think that that's something that you would put on your list of things that drives you crazy in a room?
It doesn't happen frequent enough for my school. They, first of all, never use the intercom system other than announcements and dismissal. Like, ever.
Really? Yeah. Okay. I would say that my school's pretty, they're reasonable. I never have a real issue. I wouldn't anyway. With the intercom.
Get phone calls.
Unless it's like randomly.
I do get phone calls.
But that's the replacement though, right? Right? Like they're trying to keep from making announcements. Instead of saying, "Hey, will so and so come to the office?" They're just calling the classroom.
Yeah,
that kind of thing. So I see a lot of that as well. So yeah, I found that interesting though, because people at the door knocking on the door, kids coming back from the bathroom, kids coming just getting to school, whatever it is, like that's an issue. Like that can be annoying too, just getting up and not necessarily like answering the door. It's just what's happening while you're answering the door, right? Which, I'm in a benefit in that I have a co-teacher all day, right? So I don't have to worry as much about my back being turned as maybe you would.
Yeah. So I'm, I don't think I would put it up there. I mean, interruptions, they don't bother me too bad, those types of things. I think, now, I mean, it does happen, but I don't think it's a frequent enough to put on my list. There's just too many things that are too frequent, I feel like.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it up there either. And again, this list was more about like what things that the munchkins in the room, what they do, rather more so than what like other staff does and stuff like that. So, all right, and I think this is the last question. So, of the pet peeves that I listed, of the three that I listed, are there any that you would consider, no, it's not so bad? And I think you kind of already answered this question earlier.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, with the moving around as much.
Again, that goes back to our differing classes and our differing subjects too, right? So like I'm doing science and we're doing a lot of group work, a lot of moving around.
We do a lot of group work, but you're doing more project-based learning type stuff.
Yeah.
So kids are up and they're making roller coasters and they're doing all that kind of stuff.
They're revising each other's models, so they're picking someone in the room. They're doing some Kagan strategies thrown in, so they are very active. And so I had to kind of cut that out like a few years ago, right? I found out very quickly, like, this is not something, I can't have a classroom where they're all sitting down all the time, but then having them do these projects. So I kind of had to switch how I did sitting down and stuff.
And also I think you have to look at kind of what what really constitutes a good classroom, right? Like, people always say, oh, well, it's, you look in the door and everybody's all just chilling there and they're quiet and they're working and like that's, but really is that what a classroom should look like? I think as a teacher, you have to be comfortable with saying that is not necessarily what's best for me and my room and my content. And that I want students to be engaged. I want them to be up. I want them to be moving. I want them to be working. And there's times where, we will do the same thing, right? We do stations where kids are up, they're moving around the room, but it's organized chaos, right? There's a method to it, right? We time everything in terms of stations. Yeah, you have your expectations. When I say movement, I'm talking about the expectation. Right now for this particular assignment, and we're talking 15 minutes, not the whole bell, right? But 15 minutes, like we're in a seat, we're working, you're not up moving around. But there's times where, we do stations, we do gallery walks, we do all those things. And then the expectation changes and the procedure changes. So yeah, absolutely. So we have now hit the 31-minute mark. We did it. It's a pretty good conversation. But I think it's time to wipe off the board. I wanted to see your reaction.
Gosh.
I wanted to see your reaction.
Time to wipe off the board. Change the learning target.
It's the end of the day. It's time to wipe off the board. So,
oh my goodness.
So we will see everyone next time.